There was a report recently, I think it was from Emily Kaplan.
She did say, like, 5 teams are in.
And then from there, I think people started just filling in the blanks. I think LeBrun also commented on it. Jesse, I believe we were talking about it, never even thought about, was Anaheim.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, Vegas, Tampa was for some reason incled in our graphic just because I guess Kucherov went down.
The long-term IR, the salary cap.
Just imagine.
Yeah. But why don't we start out with Jesse? Where did you want him to go? Where do you think he actually can go? And obviously, none of us have any form of inside information, but I'd love to know.
Look, if you look at Anaheim, first of all, what a difference in cities between Anaheim and Buffalo. Just get that out of the way.
Why must we do this to Buffalo? Come on.
Man, I'm from Winnipeg. I've got no sympathy. Like, whatever.
They got a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Do you? I'm moving on. All right, now they're better than you. Move on. I defended you, Buffalo.
We've got the Provencher Bridge.
Am I the only one who knows how to architect?
I look at Anaheim, and this is clearly a team in transition right now. Lots of young talent coming through the pipelines. And we don't know what's going on exactly. I don't know what's going on exactly with Jack Eichel's health, how long his recovery period will be. If he joins a contender right now, it's great, but are you going to get him back right away? What's going to happen? Send him there. Let him get the surgery that he wants to get. Let him recover. I don't know if he'll be out for the rest of the year or whatever. Even if he's back for next year, all these younger players are just going to have another year of experience under their belt. Fresh start in Anaheim. It's as far away from there as you could possibly get. This is a team that's doing it right. They had some great years, and now they're saying we need to just start over, and that's exactly what they're doing. And having Eichel as that centerpiece, now I don't know what you'd have to give up for him necessarily.
I was gonna say, they got a lot of good young players, but who do you think they're taking? Like, you're not gonna get rid of Zegras, you're not gonna get rid of Drysdale. Like, what would it take?
Imagine Zegras and Eichel as your centers. Imagine those guys on a power play together with Drysdale. I just think Anaheim makes sense for a lot of reasons. And they've got a ton of salary cap.
Let's say Zegras and Drysdale are off the table, as they probably should be. I don't think Comtois cuts it. I don't think Troy Terry cuts it. I don't know who they would give up. Yeah, that's a tough one if you're not giving up Drysdale or Zegras.
It really depends on what Buffalo's ask is going to be, right? Because they do still have young prospects that aren't playing.
They still have draft picks too.
They're draft picks because this could be Anaheim could struggle for the next couple years.
Yeah,
it'd be valuable for Buffalo to have some high draft picks.
Yeah, my only thing with that, part of the reason Buffalo is so stuck is because they're
need someone.
We can't.
Body.
We can't tell our fan base that we're doing a full rebuild again, right? Like I feel like they're holding out where they're like, we need some maybe guy who's got high upside but is kind of not playing that well. Basically you'd hope for kind of how Winnipeg got with Dubois and Laine, where it was kind of the same situation. You're probably kind of hoping that a situation emerges that's very similar, and you're like, okay, let's just trade.
So in speaking to that, then I'll go to you then, Corwin. What team do you think would make an excellent trading partner? Maybe again with a star who is a little bit more ready to go and isn't something just for the future.
LA does make the most sense to me in terms of they have probably the best prospect pool in the entire league. So they have assets that they can give in that way. And then I do think, weirdly enough, they're a team that kind of fit the mold of what you're talking about, that I don't think anybody expects much out of them this year. If they go on a nice run, cool. Then Jack Eichel comes in and they can actually maybe make a playoff push. If not, I think they're fine waiting until next year. And again, if you're Kopitar's not what he was, but he's still decent enough that if you're running your top 2 centers are Eichel, then Kopitar, you're really solid. And then even beyond that, I would assume they'd probably have to give up somebody like Byfield to get him. So I don't think they would have him in that case.
Do you think LA would give up Byfield though for Eichel? I mean, you have another second overall pick who can be a pretty dominant player in the league, who's younger,
personally,
more healthy.
If that's available to you, then we just said Jack Eichel has now somehow become underrated. You want to hope for upside, but Jack Eichel, if you're the Kings, you probably would think to do that, no? If it made sense, the rest of the trade.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
My guy Anze Kopitar, he's been pretty red hot. I don't really think Kopitar has slowed down that much.
No, he's good.
Yeah, he's still very good.
I just love him.
I just mean he's not
him.
like Pete Kopitar, but I think they just make the most sense. They'd have to get pretty creative with the cap, but that's probably the team to me.
All right, well, Luca, you've had some time to think about it.
To hear the Avalanche are rumored in this is not a surprise. And I would hope that they actually take a swing at this. The one thing that's really not in their favor at this point is they don't have a first-round pick this year.
Yeah.
So that says something to me that this is going to be very tough to pull off. And also, guys that you thought had really good contracts like Kadri and Burakovsky, they come off the books next year. So
What's the highest level of player you'd give up right now with a high ceiling on your team?
I'd give up Newhook. I wouldn't give up Byron.
So I was going to ask the same thing because I remember last year when the Crosby rumors were going around, we were asking Luca about like, oh, like who would you give up for Crosby? And then he said like, I wouldn't give up Bowen Byram. We're like, it's Sidney Crosby. Like what? And then, but yeah, like, so I feel like
He's so good.
I know, but like,
I know it's Crosby. I know.
Is that why you picked the Penguins in the Metro? That was also, it was like an apology.
It's a little connection.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you're going to always run into that thing with Colorado. Like, again, like unless Joe Sakic can actually fleece someone again, like you're going to run into that thing where I feel like most Colorado fans are like, no, I don't want to give that guy up. And it makes sense because you're already considered the best team in the league probably.
Yeah.
You
right?
feel
like,
so close. But I will say their depth so far this season has been tested, and it's not good. Like their bottom two lines are not great. And when guys are injured, when guys are hurt, I mean, it happens to every team, and so you obviously have to respond. It's adversity, whatever. But having Eichel play your 2C, that would be would be very, very nice. And I know Newhook just got sent down. They haven't really seen what they want to see out of him so far, and I'm not saying he's...
That's a bummer, eh?
It is. It sucks because he wanted to make the team out of camp, which he did, and then 2 games in, it's just like, no, we really aren't seeing what you should be showing us right now.
Especially when, like, again, with McKinnon not playing, like you'd expect, like,
exactly,
that would be even more opportunity for him.
Exactly,
yeah.
And it's not to say that he's not going to have a great NHL career. Just get his confidence back down in the AHL. Like he scored in his first AHL game again, back down. So, but I would have no problems moving, let's say, him and Justin Barron, who the Avs are really high on their first round pick from a couple years back, and then giving up your first round picks for like 2023, 2024, give them both up, give a couple prospects up to get Eichel. I would do it if I'm the Avs. I don't know if that's enough, but I'm holding out hope that, again, the longer this drags on, the Sabres are just going to have to make a move.
Look, I think Colorado would obviously be a scary spot for Eichel, and it'd be cool to see him play there. He'd likely dominate, but I don't think they're going to, and you know why? 'Cause I think Sidney Crosby's going to go to the Avalanche at some point. Let's go. Let's go.
I do love
Let's
that.
go.
Yeah.
Get in there. It
Nova
makes so much
Scotia
sense.
Connection.
Perfect. As your second line center, Sidney Crosby, with
Unreal.
McKinnon ahead of him.
But Luca knows that Pittsburgh's going to win the division, so they're not going to be giving him up. You know?
Exactly. They're going to be in the playoff hunt for forever.
I would love to see Stevie Y pull off a move and get him in Detroit.
Wow.
I love that. And I don't know what works and what they'd be willing to give up, but seeing him in, like, you know, Hockeytown, USA.
He wears number 9.
Yeah.
Not anymore, he would be.
They got a lot of draft picks. Again, they're probably going to keep Sider. They're not going to trade him. I think as far as, like, finding a team that'd be fun to see him on, up and coming. Again, they got some space, then they got some time, similar to your Anaheim pick. Oh, that'd be nice to see them in the hunt for him.
I like that. I
think it'd be really fun. So, and like, yeah, like I just like seeing Detroit good, and especially with like an iconic player.
Yeah,
that,
they gotta
like,
be.
Yeah.
Tired of seeing them bad.
Because like you're used to seeing like, you know, a player that you always identify with the Red Wings on the Red Wings, like Mike Modano.
No.
That he's a Red Wings legend. And
Daniel
Shut up.
Alfredson?
$14.99, boys. Thank you very much, Mike Babcock. Honestly, what a
transition.
my only like doubt for them actually doing it is I just don't know if they're like far enough along in their rebuild
That
if
he'd
makes
wanna go
sense.
there?
That, but also just for Detroit, where like you probably just want to go about it the right way and just kind of build
Yeah.
your team out, draft. Like they're just starting to now get this prospect pool where like their fans are starting to get excited about it, and you're in a really good place there.
And
where
they're in a tough division.
yeah, exactly. And then so like just adding Jack Eichel to that team, and then you rip out a bunch of those prospects, you're kind of like, you're a little like Buffalo.
How many prospects are we talking here? Like, if you give up a guy like Lucas Raymond and like a draft pick or something, like
I
Lucas
think it's
Raymond's a
gonna take
very
more than that, though.
Yeah, I think it would
more
take
than
more.
Raymond, but like Raymond is a hell of a prospect. He's great. He's supposed to be a great player, and there is a little risk with Eichel. I mean, could be kind of cool. But the question, I think, more becomes, and it's kind of similar to Anaheim, does Eichel want to go to a team that's not ready to win right now? Because he just seems so sick of losing.
The Devils have the like right kind of prospects in my mind, like because like if you're giving up, let's say, okay, so you're the Devils, would you give up something like Ty Smith, Alexander Holtz, and Luke Hughes?
For Eichel?
All of
in
them?
one deal?
All
no
of them?
freaking way.
All of them?
What,
I-
man?
I would.
I think I would.
You're saying that New Jersey should give up 2 guys who could potentially be their best defenseman for years to come, and Holtz, who could, by all means could be their best goal scorer for the next 10 years, to get Eichel, who comes with injury risk? And like, if you do that, you're mortgaging your future. Then Eichel's put in another situation in New Jersey where it's like, oh wow, back on a crappy team again. Like,
And,
So
and to be fair,
These are-
as much as Luca was criticizing them down the middle, and obviously every team could use a good center if they do trust what they have. Like, it's not like they're totally lacking for centers, where if you got your decor for the future, that probably would be an issue.
I understand
like what you
trusting.
have, yeah.
I know that you like what you have, but you get to keep it, first of all, because you didn't trade any of your, like, the only NHL player you're trading there is Ty Smith, which I understand is a bit of a soak. But you could probably also rotate Ty Smith out for something else. Like, let's say you do Holtz.
Nolan Foote.
Yeah, you could do Holtz, Nolan. Like, again, like, Nolan Foote's another great prospect that they have in their system. They have so many good prospects.
Kevin
that,
Ball.
like, yeah, like, look at this
Dawson
guy.
Mercer.
Look at this guy.
Yeah,
he knows them
they're-
all.
these are guys I would maybe include in a deal, but I wouldn't
But you're
include
gonna
all
have
3 of
to-
those guys together.
All I'm saying, though, is that you still have those guys. Like, okay, so maybe you take out Ty Smith and then you do 2 first-round picks with Holtz and Luke Hughes. Like,
That's still too much, in my opinion.
But then, listen, like, because then you have your 3 centers. So Nico Hischier, I would say most people he's kind of underachieved, but he is a guy that, like,
He's a solid
I think he's
player.
a good player. He's not going to have that kind of like number 1 pick
He's their
level.
captain, goddammit. Have some respect. First, you hate on Andy Green.
Guy hates captains of New York teams. Confirmed.
Hates captains.
Seen more hair on a peach than Andy Green.
What's
old
this guy-
man Rivers.
Why do you hate Andy Green?
But learn
I don't
Andy
hate
Green-
him.
Why do you hate bald people?
No, he hates old people. A lot of old man Rivers taking strays from Jesse.
Oh,
from
yeah.
what I've learned in this
Last
new
week it was
season.
Joe Pavelski.
Yeah.
This week it's Andy Green.
Cheap old man Rivers.
But give me a second here. So then your top 3 centers, you go Jack Eichel, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier.
You want Nico Hischier as your
it works
third
out.
line center?
but you can move
he'd get
to the
moved
wing
to the
if
wing.
you want, like,
You can-
whatever.
Even that, like, even if you don't, like, I think nowadays, like, you look at a third line, like, if you can, that's a luxury, right? Like it's not like he has a massive contract or something. He's just a very good player that you can fit in there.
I just think, man, like what you're kind of saying, and maybe they're a little ahead in their development as an organization, but you talk about how like Detroit is like not necessarily quite there yet. Is bringing in Eichel and getting rid of all those other guys, making the Devils an immediate like playoff contender?
So
I don't know, man.